my content. Um, Thank you for joining me here live. I'm thrilled to see you. um, and content. Oh, it always does that. It starts. Thank you. Sharing out loud, and I don't need it to be out loud when I'm over on a different channel. Okay. So here we go. Today I'm sharing a masterclass called Awaken Your Purpose. Let me start again. Today I'm starting with sharing a masterclass called Awaken Your Purpose. How I went from being a stressed, overworked teacher to getting paid to do work that I love without having it all figured out first. So I'm going to share kind of my background, my experience in finding my purpose, what worked and what didn't. And then also, if I were to do it again, what mistakes I would try to avoid this time around. And also advice that I would give to anybody who's looking to find their purpose and their fulfilling work. And we have two lovely ladies joining us live in the studio. And welcome to anybody who's watching the replay later too. This class is perfect for you if you're tired of doing soul-sucking work. If you used to like your job and you're not sure exactly what went wrong, but it's not really aligned for you anymore. Or if you're feeling frustrated, stuck, lost, overwhelmed, or drained in your work. Or if you know that you're meant for something more, something fulfilling, something that makes a difference in the world, some kind of work that really lights you up. Or it's also for you if you're dreading Monday every week. If you're live with me, I'm going to have a free gift to share you. I'll email you after. And for now, I wanted to share my story. And it begins in a place where I think a lot of other people's stories also begin. So if it resonates, if anything resonates, feel free to drop it in the chat or a comment. Drop a comment if you're watching later in the replay. I love to hear when it kind of lines up and resonates for other people too. That helps me know that I'm on the right track. So, beginning my story, I was a teacher for 17 years and I never wanted to be a teacher. A lot of the people that I've been meeting recently have been in their job for longer than they felt like they wanted to. Maybe they took on something to, help them get by while they were finding their next thing. And then it just dragged on and on and on. So for me, I graduated in the 2008 recession with a business degree. And it was a time when business professionals, like experienced professionals, weren't getting jobs. So me, as a brand new graduate, of course, I wasn't getting a job either. I applied to everything that I could find. I applied to this job to be a traveling chocolate saleswoman 3 times. They posted it 3 times and they didn't even call me 3 times. And eventually I applied to a job that said teach English in Korea. I thought, well, I applied to everything else. Why not this too? A month later, I was there doing it. No experience, no plans to be a teacher, but I thought, well, Korea sounds interesting. If nothing else, I can become a traveler while I'm teaching. And that's exactly what I did. And that choice carried me forward through my next 10 years as a teacher abroad. I visited over 30 countries and just soaked up everything I could about different cultures and different healing modalities. And I really enjoyed that phase of my life. And there were parts of teaching that also were very rewarding. Like I loved empowering students as readers and that look on their faces when they finally got it. And then the kind of way that they would approach their next reading task with more courage and more confidence. And for me, it was so, it lit me up knowing that I had made a difference in their life and then empowered them with new skills and new confidence. And I also remember one of my favorite stories of change for one of my students was I had taught my class about meditation, and this student had some kind of big blowout on the field at recess. I don't even know what happened, but I just remember seeing him like throwing his arms down and like screaming through his teeth, like, "Arr!" And then he marched over to the picnic table, marched up on top of it, and sat down cross-legged and put his hands into little mudras and closed his little eyes and meditated to resolve his anger. And it actually even makes me like tear up a little bit now. I didn't see this coming, but to have like given him that gift of that new skill to help him change his outlook, change his emotions, I feel really powerfully about that. But those kinds of moments aren't exactly the whole day when you're a teacher. There's so much more to do with report cards, parents, meetings, standards. And so the kind of relationship of work that I was doing that I loved in teaching and work that was dragging me down didn't quite cut it. So I started a couple of businesses on the side. The first one was a yoga blog. After yoga teacher training, I just wanted to share everything that I knew, and I enjoyed writing and sharing, and especially sharing what had been transformative for me, the kind of ahas that I had. And it seemed like people were really kind of resonating with it too. And yoga was where I first learned about the chakras. I loved the idea of the energy systems, and I could feel them come alive when I did the different kind of pranayama breath work or said the names of the chakras in Sanskrit or chanted the mantras. And I loved how many ways there were to work with each chakra and how they all played a different part in raising the vibration of the whole energy system. And I would just be flooded with inspiration and feel so excited and fulfilled when I was writing posts. I wrote like several posts a week. And after several months, I got an email that said, like, congratulations, here's your first Google Ads earnings. And I opened the email all excited, thinking like, ooh, like this is going to be even better for my blog. And the email said that I had made 1 cent for all my months and like dozens and dozens of posts, 1 cent. And I thought, okay, this is not going to replace my teaching job. I'm going to have to do something else. Maybe yoga blogging is still fun for me as something just that I enjoy, but it's definitely not going to replace my day job. So next I started an Etsy shop, and I made chakra related things and moon related things and mala necklaces. I loved how spiritually connected I felt when I used malas for meditation. So I wanted to share that. I made the things that I would want to wear and I would want to buy. And there too, my first sale was my dad. And I remember being so excited getting that email, oh, a sale, and then, oh, it's my dad. Which I love and appreciate so much, but it wasn't exactly what I dreamed it would be right away, but my Etsy shop did start to get some traction. And it did pretty well for a while, but then the algorithms changed. There were more people on Etsy, and I would have needed to have updated like all of my photos, all of my tags, all of my stuff to be able to keep up. And at the time I was still living in Myanmar, so I couldn't ship my own products to myself. I ordered 1 pair of pants and it took 3 months to get there. So it just felt like kind of an impossible task. And I kind of had to put some of that aside and let some of that go too. And then after 10 years living and teaching abroad, I had met my partner and we decided to move to Hawaii. He had been a traveling teacher for a decade too. And we decided the next most explorative, adventurous thing we could do together would be to try to put down some roots that felt very foreign to us. So we moved here to Hawaii. And I thought this was going to be the perfect opportunity for me to reinvent myself. I wanted to feel fulfilled and like I was making a difference, helping people, healing people. I had learned so much about different people and the kind of through lines that connect us all. I really believed in women and the power of raising each other up. And again, I kind of fell a little bit flat in the town where we live. It's a small town, and it felt like there weren't a lot of options for me to kind of jump into a company that was already doing this sort of work. I ended up working in a hotel gift shop for a while and working at Target and thinking, man, is this what I came for? Is this what I'm meant for? I don't think so. And I told a friend, I'm really ready for something good. And the next day I got email inviting me to interview to be an educational assistant. And I hopped back into teaching because it kind of felt like the only option for me at that time. And I ended up kind of hopping from job to job within the teaching profession as I was kind of working on building my stuff on the side and constantly looking on Indeed. Is there anything else that I could do? Anything, please, anything. But I hopped around. I had my own first grade classroom at different schools. I tried subbing. I tried moving into special ed. I tried everything I could think of within teaching while I was working and building on the side because teaching felt safe. There was a steady paycheck. Somebody was responsible for putting money in my account for me. And let's be real, I also really enjoyed having summers off so that I could use to do my work that I felt was my true work. And every year in the middle of the summer, I would tell myself, okay, I'm going to do it again for one more year. 7 more years went by. On the side, I was still kind of working on my yoga blog, but I was trying to say, okay, but what's next? Like, if that's not going to be everything and my Etsy shop isn't going to do it, like, what's next? I started a soap and candle shop that it was really fun for me I liked the kind of like alchemy of creating things from other things. And that business did well during COVID, but then it fell kind of flat when people could go back to shopping local and could go back to stores. I also created my Reiki business, Rainbow Reiki Energy. And for me, that felt like a total breakthrough. I loved teaching and practicing Reiki, and it felt so much more aligned for me than teaching the standards in school. And I could tap into the energy in ways that left people kind of wide-eyed and speechless. One of my clients told me that her friend who came to see me asked, can she tell what I'm thinking too? And I love teaching other people to do Reiki as well. And with Reiki, I started tapping into the chakras in new ways. I could sense their energy and I could see the effects of misalignment of the chakras. A lot of the blocks that I was sensing were like corresponded to different chakras and the function of the chakras. So for me, it was kind of like an experiential way of learning about the functions of the chakras. Like I would see people with like missing or ungrounded feet, or like feet that like weren't touching the ground because they felt like unsettled in their physical world or unsafe to be who they really are. Or chakras or sacral chakras that had like leaked and spilled out to the sides, no longer able to hold the energy of creativity and joy. Or kind of suppressed, small, shaky solar plexus chakras because of a lack of confidence, a lack of self-worth, a lack of energy to fuel their personal flame and their inner gifts. Or hearts that were guarded and shielded. I saw like dragons by people's hearts that like kind of wanted to bite me. And minimal energy coming in and out of the heart, but the heart really needs to receive. Throat chakras that were tied up with like bandages, necklaces, scarves, and chains. I even had one client who her first layer was like a big, like, you know, those neck braces if you break your neck. So I like pulled that off. And then there was like a winter scarf. So I pulled that off. And then underneath that, there was kind of a lighter, like fabric-y scarf. So I pulled that. It was just layers and layers and layers of protection around her throat. So she couldn't, or in some ways it's protection, protecting yourself from being seen and judged, and also restricts you from expressing yourself fully. And sometimes people put those on themselves, and sometimes other people's judgments, thoughts, comments put those blocks in. Covers over the third eye, keeping people from expanding their vision and seeing the truth of their situation and that more could be available. And also a lot of like harsh, noisy, busy energy moving around the mind. So there's no room for the crown chakra to receive the divine wisdom and the higher consciousness, and to let the energy come and flow through the whole system, that kind of wise wisdom energy. And in sessions, we would get to the end of the Reiki session and I would draw clients a little sketch. Let's see, Katrina said, the busy mind blocking the crown chakra resonates with me. Yeah, there's so much going on in the world right now. It's so hard not to collect all that, and so much stuff that we're all doing all day, every day, thinking about this and that and this. I totally feel that. So after sessions, I would draw clients a little sketch to show what blocks they had been holding. We would talk through what they were carrying and how I witnessed them, and kind of parse out together what it means, what in their lives had manifested these blocks, and then why they're showing up like this in their body, energy body. And usually it all resonated, and they could kind of say, yeah, I know that that's because this situation. And sometimes when I would describe like the way that I would like pull things out of their energy, they would say, oh yeah, I felt that. And then at the very end of the session, they would say, okay, so now what do I do about that? And for me, that's where Reiki fell a little bit short. I wanted to share more. I wanted to spend more time with them. I wanted to be part of the healing journey, ongoing. And that's part of the reason that I started coaching. I wanted to help resolve the patterns and the pains that manifested the energy blocks in the first place, not just help kind of expose and remove them once they were formed, but get to the source. And so luckily I had started coaching and working with women on re-envisioning their lives, and using Reiki and all of my tools from yoga and all of the tools that I had picked up during my travels. I'd been exploring both the world and healing. I combined all of those things into my coaching practices. So I would still use Reiki to kind of help sense what their energy was. And like all of my meditations and work are infused with Reiki, but I wanted to expand beyond that too. And for me, that the coaching work felt more complete. And I felt like I could help people rebuild from root to crown. With the root, help them feel more stable, more grounded, more embodied, more safe. The sacral chakra feeling more like they were flowing with creativity and sensuality, flowing with life and the energy. The solar plexus chakra helping them feel empowered and confident, proud of their individuality. At the heart, flowing with love, giving and receiving love. The throat, expressing themselves fully and receiving openly. And also receiving messages from within the body. For that part, I may always make the joke that your body says, I'm hungry. And you say, not now, we're working. So to be able to receive the messages with love, seeing more intuitively and trusting the signs, taking action on the intuitive messages, and the crown chakra connecting to the divine and everything everywhere. So to do this work, I was waking up and having coaching calls at 6 a.m. before work, before I went to school, and staying up late to take coaching calls and going to do Reiki sessions after work. I was booked from end to end. And I was doing my very best to juggle it all, both in terms of the time and energy that it took to be at school and to do the work, but also in terms of having this fulfilling creative energy that made me feel so alive and raised me up, and then trying to how to hold that still with the draining energy of feeling like I'm in Groundhog Day every day at work, and just not letting that just pull everything down and kind of melt my whole energy system. In my final year as a teacher, I had a panic attack in the parking lot. I pulled up to school and I felt like I had just walked up 4 flights of stairs. My heart was pounding out of my chest. I could barely breathe. And I just sat in my car for a few minutes and waited for it to kind of subside. It didn't all of the way. But I walked into school. I made my lesson plan so that someone else could cover my class for the day. I still couldn't quite just extract myself from the situation. I went to the hospital and they told me that I had stress-induced anxiety and depression. The doctor offered me medication. And I said, well, if it's stress-induced, what if I take out the stress? Will the stress-induced conditions also leave? So they gave me a week off of work. And I spent the whole week in our yard, more or less, the whole week in our yard, laying on this chaise lounge and just staring at the ferns and thinking about whether or not I could do it, whether or not I could return, or whether this was the sign that it was time for me to do something else. My intuition had been saying to me for months, I can't keep coming here. I can't keep coming here. And I kept walking every day into school. In the end, I decided against returning. I decided this is it. Like, if this isn't the sign that finally makes me close the door from teaching, what does it take? So I told them that I wasn't going to be able to return. And then the next week, I basically spent again in the yard, laying sideways, staring at the ferns, grieving everything that I felt like I was losing from the experience of teaching. Like, if I'm closing the door on teaching, does that mean I no longer appreciate the time that I spent as a teacher? And kind of coming to terms with, what does that mean? And kind of moving into celebrating everything that I had experienced, all of the hundreds of people that I had interacted with in all of those countries, all of the literally hundreds of children that I had worked with, and still holding them in my heart, even if I couldn't be that role anymore. Like, accepting that it was time to move on. And clearly I still have some work to do around that. But I also started looking at myself with new eyes, thinking, who am I? What's important to me now? What work do I do now? And I was so grateful to have my Reiki business to catch me when I flung myself out of teaching. I opened up a lot more availability in my schedule, and I saw a lot more clients. Surprisingly, when you're open during the day, people are more available and they can come. But I also found out that it wasn't what I wanted to do full time. And this might sound a little bit crazy, but in some ways it got too easy for me. The healing happened too fast. I'd pull all the blocks out and I'd feel complete, and I would still have half an hour in the session. And I would be just standing in there thinking, okay, what can we do now? And of course I could find hand positions to still complete the session and feel like, I had given what the client had come for. But for me, I knew that that part wasn't really needed. It wasn't what the Reiki required. And so my heart wasn't in it in the same way. I didn't feel like every part of it was necessary and healing. I wasn't called and pulled forward into every step of the practice as I had been. And I could feel that part of it was kind of closing. And I'm still working on transitioning out of Reiki. Part of me does still enjoy it, and I still have my space. I still enjoy teaching it. I think honestly more than doing the sessions. If you're my client though, and I'm seeing you for a session soon, I will be very happy to see you. But at this point, I'm excited to focus more on the work that feels like more of a full expression of all of my healing tools together, and to kind of pull it more into a longer container, so that I can be part of the healing journey long enough to see the before and an after, and impart true change between. This work, this feels like it's my next calling, and it's coaching that kind of pulls it all together, and like, just like you can see from my hands moving all around now, like I don't even have words for it. I'm just too excited. But in coaching, I can use all of my tools as what one of my clients described as a playground of self-care, to help each client on their own journey, following their own personal path. But I found that the journeys kind of overlap enough that I could create a system that I felt good about, and the outcomes of the clients that were attracted to me were similar in that they were all related to purpose and finding their purpose, embracing their purpose, living their purpose. Each of the clients was kind of taking a different path up the mountain, but they were all climbing and meeting at the top in this place of finding their unique work that was meant for them and lit them up. And this was a path, as you've heard, that I've been walking and working out the kinks of for years. And also, my path has not been linear. I've tried a lot of different possibilities, and there were signs along the way that I know I could have listened to or paid more attention to. So from my work with my clients and my own journey, I'm going to share some of the mistakes that maybe you can avoid from listening to my experience. So my first mistake was not clearing the old blocks and stuck patterns first. If you don't believe that you're safe and you don't believe in yourself, it's hard to get to the core of what you want to do. And that's what happened to me when I was kind of jumping from teaching job to teaching job. I thought, oh, it'll be better over there. But of course it won't be better enough, because it's not really what I'm feeling destined and pulled to do at this time. Sorry. And it's also the reason that I was building my businesses on the side. I hadn't cleared enough of my own blocks, excuse me, around, let me just have another sip of water. Hold on. Okay, hopefully I'm back. I hadn't cleared enough of my own blocks around visibility, self-worth, money mindset, all of those kinds of things. Each of my chakras still needs work. And looking back at myself now, I can see that my root chakra, I had blocks that I needed to clear to be safe as who I am in my body, safe with money, safe to release the conditioning that had brought me to where I was and start to walk a new path. My sacral chakra needed clearing so that I could flow with creativity and inspiration and feel tapped into what felt good to create and to share, and to feel more alive and flow with life force energy and be emotionally stable to work through it all. I needed to clear my solar plexus chakra so that I could be confident in myself, in my gifts, in others, my purpose, my offers, self-worth, and build my self-worth, self-esteem, get clear on my values and how I wanted to feel and live. I needed to clear my heart chakra so that I could give with an open heart and fully receive in return, ready to love what I do and live what I love, and create more self-love for everything that I've been through and everything that I was becoming. I needed to clear my throat so that I would be ready to shout it to the world and fully express what I'm sharing and communicate what's available, what I want to share, what I can offer. I needed to clear my third eye so that I would be open to the intuitive guidance and ready to heed the messages around my career, my purpose, my life, listen to that voice that said, I can't keep coming here. Not from when I was teaching. And clear my crown so that I can be one with the divine, feeling pulled forward and guided in my work, and know that I'm on the right path. So obviously there was a lot that I hadn't cleared, that if I was able to do that sooner, I would have probably been able to step into my purpose sooner and to feel stronger and more empowered doing it. The second mistake was not getting in touch with myself first and knowing who I truly was, what my values are, what my gifts are, my passions. And also not knowing strongly enough who I was to not be influenced by outside voices, to learn to listen in because I know myself and what my voice sounds like. And the third mistake was not dreaming big enough. In that phase where my dream was to work at a different school versus actually jumping with both feet into my own business and my own world, wanting what I really wanted. And got stuck trying to logic my way out of my best and most heartfelt ideas. And I let my inner critic choose. So advice that I'd give to someone now, if they were looking to find their purpose and start living with purpose, living from a place of purpose. Number one, start with safety. Feeling safe in your body, feeling safe to be who you are and want what you want, as well as building faith and belief that you want what you want for a reason, and belief in yourself that you can follow that and find the right thing for you, valuing yourself, loving yourself enough to give yourself the gift of doing things that light you up. Number two, define your gifts, your passions, your needs, what lights you up. I think accidentally squished that into number one. Number three, tap into your heart and your intuition to make decisions based on your own wisdom. So moving all of the distractions of the critical mind, moving all of the outside voices, and just listening in and seeing what kind of pulls you. Number four, in terms of advice, start small and try things. Try all the things. Don't be attached to the outcome. You'll either win or you'll learn. And every step, either way, will get you closer to what you most want to do. Number five, make a plan and keep tweaking it until it feels fantastic. So these steps from the advice that I would give are exactly what helped me find my purpose. And they're exactly what I help my clients do inside of my program, Radiant Awakening. You learned what to do together today. Inside my program, Radiant Awakening, you'll learn how to do it with the accountability and support of a mentor who's done it before. I hope that this has been super helpful for you and that you're walking away feeling like finding your purpose is more doable for you than ever before. And if you feel complete, I want to thank you so much for being here. And Sheila and Katrina, I'm going to send you that special thank you for coming live gift. And if you're curious to hear more about my program, Radiant Awakening, I'm going to talk about that next. And you're welcome to stick around and hear all about it. So Radiant Awakening is my foundational program where I teach you step-by-step how to find your purpose and start living it in your dream work every day. Everything from clearing old blocks that kept you stuck, to figuring out what lights you up, to taking action to confidently step into a life where you're excited to wake up and do your purpose work every day. And these are the exact steps that I took to go from being an overworked, stressed out teacher to getting paid to do work that I love. It fills me up to see others step into their purpose work too. If you've been feeling drained, lost, stuck, and disconnected, you're ready. I'll help you find your purpose and start living it so that you can wake up excited for work every day and go to bed feeling fulfilled every night. This isn't a standard career coaching program. In Radiant Awakening, we work through each of the chakras from root to crown, clearing blocks and empowering and aligning your energy with your unique soul essence and your blend of passions and skills. And then once your energy is aligned and clear, it becomes so much easier to tap into what lights you up and start taking action toward your dream career and your dream life. In the program, we work through each of the chakras, starting with the root and that feeling of safety in your body, safety with money, safe to release conditioning and walk a new path. The sacral chakra, safe to flow with creativity and flow with life and what feels good for you and feel emotionally safe to do it. The solar plexus, working on building confidence and embracing your gifts, igniting your inner flame, feeling empowered to share it. And the heart, ready to share with an open heart, ready to give and receive love. The throat, ready to express all of it to the world, shout it from the rooftops. And the third eye, opening to intuitive guidance and ready to heed the messages around your career, your purpose, your life. And your crown, opening to the divine so that you can feel kind of pulled forward and guided in your work, knowing you're on the right path. I want to share a little bit about a couple of my clients. One of them just moved when we started the program together, and she felt unsure of who she was in her new environment and even what really mattered to her. Through Radiant Awakening, she had a huge shift in self-acceptance, self-esteem, and confidence. She left with clarity and optimism, and now she's in grad school for mental health counseling and feeling like that's what she's meant to do, feeling empowered to embrace her gifts and pursue her new purpose. I had another client who had been traveling the world, and she came home to help her family and kind of like take a break while she figured out what was next. But she was drowning in their struggles and their needs, and she was missing Oregon, where she had lived years before. Through Radiant Awakening, she established boundaries, and she moved back to Oregon, and she started running more competitively. Now she's done 4 marathons and an Ironman, and I'm sure there's so much more to come for her. I'm so excited for her. I'm like almost crying. Sorry. And now she's also coaching other people to help them with their running journey too, so that they can also start doing bigger races. Radiant Awakening is a hybrid program with group coaching and individual coaching, over 4 months. Because I strongly believe in the power of witnessing each other heal and grow in community. And I also want to dive really deep into one-on-one work with you. You'll get lifetime access to the program, including the teaching content and the replays of our cohort's live sessions together. The program is usually $7,000, but during pre-sale right now, it's $3,997, which is about $3,000 off. It's almost half off. And I'm excited to extend an invite. If you join during pre-sale, you'll get 2 bonus one-on-one calls that you can use anytime during those 4 months that you feel like you need a little bit of extra support. I'm also going to send you a welcome box with some special tools and treats that will help you through the journey. And you'll also get that $3,000 discount. And the price is going up soon. Pre-sale ends November 25th, and spots are limited to 10 people. I really want it to be an intimate container where everyone can interact with each other and also do their deep personal work. So, as you can see, this program is transformative. The next steps, if you're interested in joining, is to book an awakening call with me. Inside the call, we're going to discuss what you really want to do for your work and what's been blocking you. And I'll also make specific recommendations for exactly how you can find and pursue your purpose with more ease. This call alone could be life-changing. And if inside the call, it feels like a fit for both of us to continue to work together inside of Radiant Awakening, we'll discuss the details, get your questions answered, and sign you up. I'm going to drop a link in the chat if you would like to book an awakening call. Sorry, chat. Yeah, there's the link in the chat. If you'd like to book an awakening call, you can click there. And we'll see if this might be exactly what you need to stop feeling stuck and start living in your purpose. And if you're watching the replay, I'll also have the link. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to put it on YouTube. And if you're watching the replay through email, the link will also be in your email. And if you have any questions, I will welcome them, or comments, ideas, concerns. Wonderful. Okay. I hope to chat with you soon if you're interested in an awakening call. I look forward to talking with you. And either way, I hope to see you soon. Have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Thanks for joining in and your comments and your energy. I like seeing your face here. Okay. Talk to you again soon. Sending lots of love and Reiki. Bye for now. And Katrina said, I'm excited for your journey. Thank you so much. Me too. And excited for the journeys of all the people that will be part of the journey.